And hello. Thank you for stopping by yet another edition of the Massachusetts Whiskey Reviews this evening on the 10th of November 2023. And I'm very, very excited to bring you this particular bourbon whiskey from the great state of Texas. And it is a bourbon whiskey I actually never thought I was going to get an opportunity to even see a bottle and try, because according to this distillery's website, they do not distribute in I don't know if they distribute in the Northeast, but they do not distribute, according to their website, into my state of Massachusetts. However, Total Wines, and there was one in drivable distance from where my office is for work. Total Wines have this brand. So when I saw it on that website and at that actual store, I had to go and get it. What bottle is that, may you ask? From the Still Austin Distillery. It's their Still Austin Cask Strength Bourbon Whiskey. Nice. As you can see, I have a little bit of an opinion already formulated, but I will keep this, and I've tried some of it, obviously, but I will keep this thing as open-minded as humanly possible. Website, stillaustin.com, Cask Strength Bourbon Whiskey. This deeper, more metal version of our beloved straight bourbon is made from a select choice blend of choice barrels bottled at a grow on your hair chest 118 proof, which is 59% alcohol by volume. In an act of masterful artistry, our distillers were able to combine power and subtlety into one gorgeous spirit. Because of the demand for this magnificent juice, we've decided to make it available year-round. Hell yeah. And the website says the following for the mash bill. It's 70% corn, 25% rye, 5% malted barley, and yes, 100% Texas. To create, and on the back of the bottle, just a little bit of info. To create this robust bourbon, we asked our master blender, Nancy the Nose Fraley, to search through our barrels of straight bourbon and select the most complex and full-flavored ones, those that were begging to be blended and released at barrel proof, meaning the whiskey was bottled at the same barrel, or at the same proof at which it was aged. The resulting spirit is a masterpiece of complex dark spirits and a deep spice finish. These guys are in Manor, Texas, the Still Austin Whiskey Company. I believe that's around the Austin, Texas area. And you know what's really cool? Just the climate in Texas can allow for whiskeys and spirits in barrels to age much faster. This is only a 2-year product, which is amazing because I know what to expect, but it's amazing the depth of flavor you can get for 2 years of time. And I get a little nervous seeing a lower aged whiskey, and like that it's going to be kind of raw and really grain forward. But we'll get into that here. Cheers, John Nilly. So courtesy of Tanner, the East Coast Liquor Reviews channel of YouTube, we got a new rating system to use for whiskeys. All equals out to 100 points. It's in the description of the video. Aesthetics and looks, which would include the color, the way the whiskey looks, and the bottling, is up to 10 of those points. Nose, flavor, mouthfeel, and finish get 20 points each, and the remaining 10 points go to a value. And I will talk about the price of said bottle at that time. And let's get into it. We're almost 4.5 minutes into the video. So cheers, everybody. Hope you're doing good out there. All right. Ooh. Cap the bottle. Synthetic cork. By the way. All right. Looks and aesthetics. Well, you see the bottle. It's got that. They call her the musician. They have a 90 proof offering, but this is the darker version with the night sky. And they always have that red looking bird or cardinal, whatever you want to call that, on the label. Looks really cool. Aged for at least 2 years. And it has John Scrapple, lead distiller signature on there. Certified Texas whiskey. There's your ABV. I like the look of that bottle. Nice and sturdy bottle. Synthetic cork doesn't bother me. And it is a nice dark, a little darker than a copper penny. It's got a nice deep caramel color. Maybe like a mahogany color. That's a really pretty whiskey. And alcohol legs. Let's see, alcohol legs. Those are nice and present. Cool. I'm liking this whole presentation. I will give that I think I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10. Why not? All right, the nose, we're up to 20 points on the Still Austin Cask Strength. Nice. There's a lot of not Fireball whiskey, but the cinnamon red hot kind of a candy cinnamon note is all over this whiskey here. I'm getting some leathery notes. I'm getting some tobacco-y notes. I'm getting the rye spice, definitely. There's a eucalyptus or a minty kind of a presence to it. Your typical vanillas and your caramels as well. I'm getting a dark fruit, maybe like a dark cherry. And there's not a bunch of malted barley in the background, but there is a little toasty char note, maybe more of a toasty note, I guess, from the barreling. Maybe that can be like a toasty bread or something. So cinnamons, red hot cinnamons is this, in that leathery note. It's the star of the show there, really. I'm not getting a huge, I mean, there is a little bit of nail polish remover, but I really have to stick my nose in there to get it. Nice rich vanilla there, too, I'm getting. Nice. It does not smell young at 2 years. It smells like it really got matured in that barrel. It's a really nice nose. It's not the most complex nose. It's not super dynamic or anything, but there's a lot to pull out for 2 years. I'm going to give that a 17, I guess. Let me write that down. And let's go for the flavor with and without water. Cheers, everybody. Definitely a high corn concentration or a percentage in the mash bill. Got a nice corn sweetness up front, mixed with that red cinnamon hot flavor. I get the candy coating sweetness to it as well. It's not cloyingly sweet, but it's definitely got a sweetness to it. I'm getting I'm getting more baking spices as well. I'm getting cinnamons and burnt sugars, caramel, maybe more caramel than burnt sugars. Burnt caramel sugars. Yeah, like cinnamon or like a pumpkin spice or like an apple pie kind of seasonings in there. Dark cherries are definitely in there. You could even call it like a big red kind of a gum note almost in a way there. Definitely the rye spice has a minty, almost cooling sensation to it, to be completely honest. I still get that leathery note and the rich tobacco notes in the background. That's superb. That is stupidly awesome. And it's 2 years old, and I'm getting that breath of flavor, including a little bit of a barrel char. More of it comes across as a toastier note. Ooh, I like this. Ooh, this is good. This is going to get a good value score too when I get there. Only complaint really with that flavor I think is that there's going to be some people that do not really care for the sweeter quality to the bourbon. So if you don't like a really super sweet whiskey or bourbon, this may not be the way to go. But I've learned to tolerate some higher corn percentage whiskeys. That's the only thing that's downgrading the flavor there a little bit. So I'll give that a. I really want to give that an 18, so I just will on the flavor. And the mouthfeel is great. I get up to 20 points on the mouthfeel. The mouthfeel is very viscous. It's oily. There's some creamy notes to it. There's a weight. There's a viscosity to it. It's not thin. It's not apologizing for being 59% ABV, 118 proof. It doesn't really superly drink that way, but it has a heft like when you're drinking a higher ABV beer or something like that. You can tell, but I haven't been. Your mileage may vary on where you are in your drinking spirit drinking adventure. If this 118 proof would come across super hot in the ABV range, to me, there's a little bit of warmth, which is what I would expect, but it's not drinking like pure ethanol or anything like that. I really like that mouthfeel. I don't know what to call that mouthfeel out of 20. Let's call it 17 for good measure. And that finish, we drink a little bit of water. That finish is a long and lingering finish. Water kind of muted me a little bit. I get some wood spice, some wood tannins. I get that menthol feeling from the rye, and I'm riding down some black cherries, some darker fruit notes, and the corn sweetness too. And it's still going, and it's still going, and I still get I still get an oily texture. I like that finish. Let's claim that nothing is a perfect score and give that a 19 for God's sakes. Let's give that an 18. And value can just go right up to a magical number 10 on this bad Larry. Currently, I think I must have bought it for the same price. Currently, at the Total Wine, on the Total Wine's website, it's $44.99, people. What in the living of hell is still Austin selling cask strength bourbon whiskey for under $50 for? That is a seriously stupid price for cask strength whiskey for a 2-year-old product that doesn't taste old. Holy shit. Pardon my French. Wow. Yeah, this is one of the best values in bourbon, period. And it's not allocated. It sits on a shelf where you can find it and at Total Wines. Let's put a little bit of water into the glass. Let's just see where my notes change, and then we'll tabulate the scores up. See where still Austin cask strength rounds out. All right. Wow. No, that just gave me almost like a double barreling kind of a feel, like a really fudgy chocolate. Get a lot of fudgy chocolate mixed with some caramels and toffees now. Definitely some caramels and toffees in that fudgy chocolate. Wow. There's a coffee-like note with the toasty barrel in there too, mixed with the baking spices, vanillas, and dark fruit. But yeah, definitely a chocolate and the caramels popped out with the water addition. Amazing. Cheers. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Now, all this rye spice, that finish is going up to a 19. Now, all that rye spice and that flavor can just go up to a 19. All of that rye spice just came right out of the glass and assaulted your taste buds in the nicest way possible. And that sugary caramelized corn that's providing us the sugary content. It's sugary caramelized goodness. I can taste more of a bready element now. Wow, that brought up the finish, the mouthfeel. Everything can just probably go up another point there, including the nose. All right, nice. Yeah, everything just got amplified. It's a very, very, very good spirit by itself with that water. It's a sweeter, more desserty, creamier, and more viscosity, oily flavor. But again, this brings out more of the sweetness overall with the water addition. So if that's not your bag, this probably isn't the bourbon for you, but just drink it neat instead. Or maybe it will hold up to cocktails and you can play around with sweet components of your cocktails. All right. So we have 8 out of 10 points for aesthetics and looks, 18 out of 20 for the nose, 19 out of 20 for the flavor, 18 out of 20 for the mouthfeel, 19 out of 20 for the finish, and the value is a straight 10 out of 20 or 10 out of 10. So let me do the calculation on the calculator. 18, 19 on the phone, 18, 19, and 10. And that brings us to a solid 92 points out of 100 for the Still Austin Cask Strength Bourbon Whiskey. I can see why people rant and rave about just about everything Still Austin, including their Cask Strength whiskey, for it being a 2-year-old product and having that depth of flavor, for it being well under $50 or just under that $50 range. It definitely exceeded my expectation, and I'm glad I got a grab of the bottle because it was on my bucket list for whiskeys and not even expensive. I will definitely be buying. I definitely will buy this again. No question. I would like to try the next bottle I want to buy from Still Austin and Total Wine would be their straight bourbon called The Musician, which is at a whopping 49.2 ABV. So that's still pretty good, and 98.4 proof. Still pretty good. And they do ryes, they do some gins, they do some other things with, I think they do like a red corn, they do a bottle and bond, they have a single barrel. They're doing some good stuff. So yeah, 92 for the Still Austin Cask Strength Bourbon Whiskey. Thanks for watching, everybody. And until next time, keep tasting those great whiskeys, regardless of if it's a bourbon, a Irish, a Scotch Canadian, or other world whiskeys. Cheers. We will see you soon. Thanks, chat. You know who you are.